and welcome to my YouTube channel, Julie McNeil Craft. So it's time for take 5. I can't believe we're at the end of February already. And we have the prompts, which have been chosen by Amira this time. So 1, we've got a theme: portray your inner emotions in your piece. A figure from a magazine, a mixed media background, a cut out and collage words, and just a doodle. So yeah, I am going to start out, because I'm not sure how to portray the emotions in the piece, but the fact we've got cut out words, I'm thinking that if I sort of choose words that I kind of connect with, that could work. So I'm going to make a page out of my handmade journal for this year, my 2021 journal, which I'm enjoying using actually. And I like the idea of it, because I like the idea that once the year's up, that's it finished, because I've never yet finished a journal. I do have one that is getting very, very close to being finished, but it's not quite finished yet. I'm just looking for a piece of washi tape just to stick that down with a second. And I'll be cutting it in a bit, but it's just because I kind of want to do a double page spread. So I'm just going to stick this down and then turn it around and then cut it, if that makes sense. So that's what I'm looking for. Yeah, so I'm liking the idea of this journal, because then basically at the end of this year it's finished. Whether it's got 3 pages in it or whether it's got 103 pages in it, it's just, so I quite like that idea. I'm still working on my other journals as well, but I am liking this. So I'm just doing that there, so I've got a 1-page spread. These are just mop-up pages that I've done that kind of coordinate. So I've chosen my favourite book, and what I'm thinking is I can kind of express how I'm feeling by using words from this book. So I think possibly this is going to be a little bit slow, because I'm just going to be tearing pages out of here and picking out sentences and things and sticking them down. So I think I'll probably just pop you on fast forward while I do that. So that's my words on my page now. It did make me sort of smile as I was doing it. So I don't want it to seem like I'm constantly going on about this, but I'm going to an award ceremony tonight via StreamYard, because I have been nominated by the Salon Jedi for Business of the Year award. So it's my first ever awards, so I think that's all in my head. And so whilst picking words, this thing was to like express your emotions, I kept picking on sentences that sort of had to do with that. So some of them are quite funny. Like for example, I've got one of them, tell me your name and business, because that I will be doing that at some point tonight. I don't see wine, because it was like have some wine, I don't see wine, and then it's like, oh, it's nothing but tea, which is quite funny because I probably should be celebrating with wine, but I'm actually being good and healthy at the minute, so I'm not going to be having a glass of wine. I might have a chamomile tea with me. I might put it into a glass so it looks like I'm drinking wine. And yeah, so I've got things like I should like it very much, finding it really nice, how exactly, eyes opened wide, have some fun, you've been invited, that sort of thing. So there's lots of different bits and pieces. There's one about I need my hair done, or your hair wants cutting, which is funny for 2 reasons, because my hair does want cutting, because I've definitely got lockdown hair, and also the award is being held by, it's called the Salon Jedi. So she's in the hairdressing industry. It's just that I entered her class when she opened it a little while for small businesses in our area. So that kind of just made me smile as well. So I've got all of those sort of things on. So it's all different like sentiments that just sort of made me think of what's going to be occurring tonight. So one of the prompts also said mixed media background. I did have a little bit of a mop-up pages there, but I just wanted to make it a bit more mixed media-ish. So I'm actually using this Dreamweaver embossing paste. It's not really one of my favourites. My go-to texture paste now is Pretty Gets Gritty. But I have it in my cupboard, and I've got all these half bottles of things that are taking up room. So I'm just trying to get them used so that I can, you know, get rid of the room. So I now have to go and cook some dinner, the joys. So I'm just going to let that settle, let that dry off, and then I'll maybe add a little bit of colour, and then we'll have a look at the other prompts and see where to go next. Okay, so this is how it's all dried. I genuinely don't have many magazines, so I've been looking through a catalogue, and I really like that image, but it's kind of not working for me for this project, and I think the colours on this go a little bit better. So I'm thinking I'm going to use this girl here, but I am maybe going to try and stick flowers round her head like the other image. So, man, it's been a mental evening. It's now about 20 to 10 at night. Yeah, and I went to my awards and I won, which was a bit, yeah, I'm still in a bit stunned. And everyone was drinking cocktails and champagne, and I'm sitting there with chamomile tea because I'm trying to be good. But I'm saving, I've got Prosecco in, so I'm saving that because it's our wedding anniversary in a couple of weeks, and by that point I'll have finished the 4-week plan of the midlife method. So I'm saving it for then, so it'll be a double celebration. But anyway, I think she looks quite good here. So I'm going to pop her on, and then I'm going to sort of clear gesso everything, partly because, as I said, the texture paste that I use is not my favourite. It's one I bought when I was sort of first venturing into mixed media and just wanted a texture paste, and bought what was available in the shop, but I find it a bit glossy for my liking, to be honest. So because of that gloss that I don't want, I'm going to pop clear gesso over it. I think we'll just stick her on there first, then get a bit of clear gesso over everything because that's a bit shiny as well. And we'll do a bit of colouring, and we'll have a little check as to what the other prompts are. And I've got magazine cut out, and we've got words and express how you're feeling. I would have really liked it if I'd had magazines and I could have, you know, had a picture of somebody holding an award, but I don't. I literally don't ever buy magazines, ever. I very occasionally buy a craft magazine. And that's normally if I'm bored on a journey. I'll get a craft magazine to keep me entertained. Right, so we'll stick that down, and that's going over the texture there as well. That's fine. So we'll stick that all down there, because you never quite know how a page is going to go. If you end up covering stuff that you've done, it's not the end of the world, it's not a problem. Right, so let's just trim this down, and as I said, I quite fancy having some flowers over, because I said I did like that picture, but it was just, it wasn't right for this page. But I may save it for another page, to be honest. Right, let's slap a bit of clear gesso on this, and let's knock away all of that shine. It's also going to protect the words when we start popping mediums and things on it. So I'm just going to cover all of this up, and then I'll be back with you once I've done that. Okay, so I'm leaving that dry. I'm trying to avoid using the heat gun too much. I probably will have to blast it at some point. But I was using, Dawn gave me this paper for the Dawn and Julia Create, and I fancied flowers for this, and tonally that works quite well. So I am just going to go around these, and I am going to just fussy cut them out. So it's just, I'm just coming on to sort of explain. I'll not make you watch endless amounts of fussy cutting. But it's just to sort of see what I'm doing and what I'm thinking. I don't know if you like that, because I can come on and just say what I've just done, but sometimes I think your thought process sort of changes during a project. But at the minute I'm just sort of thinking that these colours go really well. So I'm going to cut out these flowers. I'm going to have a look through my scrap bin and see if there's extra bits of paper and stuff that I can build up. But look how well those colours go. As I said, I probably will sort of put some more paint and medium on at the minute, in a bit, once I've built it up. But yeah, I'm going to do that, and then I'll come back and arrange it all with you. Okay, so I have been cutting out the flowers, and I've sort of roughly arranged them in a sort of kind of place where I think they look kind of good. So we'll stick this down like so. I'm going to pop that across there just so I can hide, because there was a bit of dodgy cut work there. But I always find that, you know, if there's a square edge or something that you're not overly keen with, it can generally be covered up. I'm kind of wishing I'd cut another flower now. I might just quickly do that because I've moved it up further and now it's not going to go right to the edge, which will bother me. But I still have some left. So we are all good. It's all good. Just very roughly cut around here. It's funny because I never have an idea of what I'm going to do when I start, but I didn't even know what image I was going to be using. So yeah, this is definitely, and it's definitely very different, and it's softer colours to what I normally use too as well. Right, I'm going to get these stuck down. And as I said, that original magazine image where she had the flowers over the hair, I really, really like that. It's just the colours just weren't right for this particular project, even though we could have like added the colours. I just really wasn't in a purple vibe, to be honest. Right, so that's still got a little gap, so let's just cut another little flower out to stick there. We'll get there eventually. It's all good, it's all good. So yeah, this is going to be fun because I've got to finish doing this and have it edited tonight before I go to bed as well, so I think it could be a late one. But it's just been one of those days. I think I'm probably the same as everyone with homeschooling and everything. It's like I was never very good at being on top of things at the best of times, but trying to fit everything in now is very entertaining. Right, so we've got that there. I'm going to get some extra glues on these extremities. And so I think I want these flowers, I want at least one eye covered, but maybe not both of them. So I'm going to sort of cover that eye there. Oops, a bit far over. There we go. Because I think that would be quite cool. Like a big floral hat. I think in the other one she did have both her eyes covered, but I don't fancy it on this particular piece. Right, there we go. And then just to marry because obviously we're doing a 2-page spread, so you want it to sort of work across the 2 pages. I am just going to add some of these here, and then again I'm going to clear gesso over these flowers. And I'm thinking I don't have nearly as much of a mixed media vibe as I want, because we were to have a bit of a mixed media background. So I'm contemplating getting the same stencil. Oh, this is all sort of falling apart on me now. Getting the same stencil and going over with some of my souffles, because I just feel it could do with lifted, and I'm feeling very sparkly and happy, and yeah, I feel like we need sparkle to celebrate. So I'm just going to get this on again. It's just going to give it all the same playing field. It evens the playing field when you're using, because obviously I've got the gloss paper from the magazines. This paper is very different. When I start putting other mediums on, which I'm not too sure how many more mediums we're going to do. I think I'm sort of almost there. I just personally would have liked a bit more of a mixed media vibe, and originally I was going to pop a bit of colour between that stencil, which I might do actually. We'll maybe just put a tiny bit of gouache just to bring out some of the detail on that stencil, especially on this side because we don't have as much colour, so we could maybe bring in some of the greens that are more on this side and bring them through in this stencil. And then I'm thinking I'll get the same stencil again and just pop a bit of souffle down, and once that's dried we'll need to add a little bit of doodling. So I'm just going to give that a waft and then come back with my gouache. Okay, so I've got my gouache. It took me a while to find it. I was wondering what on earth I'd done with it. I'd moved it to a different drawer, therefore I couldn't find it. So I've got some of this, these are Arteza gouache, so I've got some of the stone blue, and I think I'm going to mix it with a little bit of the green, which is a lime green. Look at that though, it's a lime green. You mix it with a little bit of something else and it gives it a completely different colour tone. So never be afraid to sort of mix your paints together. I'm just wanting to sort of emphasise some of the texture from that the stencil that we used, because it's kind of sitting there but we're not seeing the detail. We've covered quite a bit of the detail on this side, so let's see if we can just sort of bring it out here. And I've also got a nice top colour as well that I might also bring in. Just sort of dab in that. I'm not sure how well this is showing on the video. Oh, I'm so looking forward to having my own studio. I've already sort of said to my husband about the sort of, I want posh lights. I'm going to get myself a new table protector. It was working really well at the beginning, but it's had a few years of abuse now because I've been doing YouTube for a little while now. So yeah, I'm just trying to catch the edges of this stencil a little bit, and I will. The desk is getting quite cluttered. I'll bring some just around here. And as I said, this is just to sort of, because we've got the detail there, but we've not done much with it yet. We've not done much to sort of emphasise it. So I'm just really wanting to just do a few little bits. As I said, we've covered quite a lot of it on this side. Actually, we could use that colour to sort of do a little bit of shadowing. I wasn't going to on this, but that's a nice soft colour. It's going to be a really delicate shadow, and again it's just going to tie those pieces together. So this is where the clear gesso is invaluable, because I'm now going over book paper, I'm going over magazine paper, even the colours that went on beforehand, they were, I think, a water-based product, which would normally move when you start doing this. But the fact that we've got that layer of clear gesso there, that's just going to stay put. So I've got that, that's nice. It's very soft and pretty. The projects that I made for the Dawn and Julia Create that went up, well, it'll be yesterday, it went up today, but as you're watching this, it'll have been yesterday. They were very soft colours as well, which is very unusual for me. I'm normally very bright and in your face. So yeah, the soft pastel tones seems to be sticking. Do we like soft pastel tones? Right, and then I think we'll put a bit more of this blue around here, but yeah, I think that's just helped to, I'm just maybe going to give this a little squirt of water just to sort of get a bit of natural, because I've sort of placed, I've very much placed the colour, which is fine, but I do like a sort of organic look where you lose the control and just let the product take it where it wants to go. So that's looking good. So I'm just going to go and get my stencil that I had used, and as I said, I'm going to pop a bit of souffle through that, and then finally we will do a little bit of doodling just to finish off. Okay, so I'm going to move in similar areas to where we had the stencil before. I'm just going to bring, so this dries clear. Normally I let it dry naturally, because Anna Howsam does say that if you don't, there is a chance that it could be a little bit milky when it dries. So if you want it to dry clear, you're best to leave it. But a couple of things, I'm not too bothered on this particular project, and also I'm on a bit of a very tight time frame, so I don't actually really have the time to be waiting for it to dry. I probably will just maybe go and have a cuppa and then come back from that and see how it's looking, just to give it a bit of a chance. And then I'll just give it a little waft, and then all we have to do is a bit of doodling, because we're to add a doodle, but I'll probably just do my usual doodly border. I'm just going to go slightly off what we've, so it's on there but different. So at the minute it looks like I'm covering up what I've just done, which in essence I am, but this stuff dries clear. So it was just going to give a nice extra glittery undertone to it. So I'm just going to leave that for a moment, and we'll be back just to finish that off. Okay, so I did blatter this with heat gun, and I now understand what Anna Hersom means. So have you ever, I don't know, when you dry something, say like a gel medium or something like that, but there's the surface part bubbles, and so it's kind of like the surface that's dry. So quite often, like with a crackle gel or something, they tell you not to heat it, but then you find you get a bubbling rather than a crackle, and that's what's happened here. We've got a bubble, but because of the fact that it's sort of speed dried the top, the bit underneath it is still white. So that's where you're getting that milkiness from. Now, personally, sometimes I think it's quite good to push your products. Like, obviously, follow the advice. The people that have designed it know what they're doing. They designed it, and they designed it to look a certain way. But sometimes I think actually getting your products and pushing them, you learn something new about them. So I've actually learned why that turns a little bit milky, and I've learned that it also bubbles, which creates texture. Which on some projects I would quite like. I don't mind it on this. I don't think it's ruined it, because we've got like lots of white space and things anyway, so I think it kind of works, which is why I didn't mind sort of risking, because it wasn't a project that I was overly concerned about the fact that of it drying it clear. But I think sometimes taking your products and pushing them to do things that they're not meant to do is really good. It helps you to understand, why, and then it helps you to make informed choices in future products as to whether you want to do that or not. So I think that's good. It's the same with like the Dina Weekly sprays and things. She tells you not to heat them, and it's like you don't get the same cell formation. If you heat it, it tends to all sort of blow in together. I am just going to, I don't want to do a huge amount of doodling, but it's one of the prompts, so I think, actually, do you know what, I think I'm going to get a white pen and do some white pen doodling, so it's just that little bit softer, because I'm actually really liking how it's looking at this current moment in time. I think all my cool Uniball pens are actually with my Copics in the other room, so I'm thinking maybe we could just do some sort of white doodling around some of these flowers, and then we could give her a bit of a sketchy look, so she looks more, well, she's not going to look hand drawn, but just so she looks more part of the page. And then that way we've done some doodling and followed the prompts, which is all good, because that's the whole idea. So obviously with this project there are 12 of us ladies that take part, and there's different prompts every month, and you will find all their details listed below. So please do check out what they have done. But also this is for you guys, so if you fancy playing along and taking the prompts, please do let us know. Use the hashtag Take5Art so that we can find you. If you make a video, let one of us know, and we'll let Kyra know, and she will put it on this month's playlist. So yeah, so we love seeing what you've done. And I always find it so interesting that we all get the same prompts and we all go in very, very different directions, which is really cool. Right, so again, I'm just popping some sort of white doodles on something. So I know we were actually supposed to doodle something, so I think I'm going to stick with, like, I like to do dangles and things, but I'm going to just do them in white. And I might go around some of the words. I got curious. Let's see, how am I feeling now? Wine. I feel like wine. Compliment. First speech. Okay, let's get a bit more around here. So I think I am going to call that done. So let me just sort of straighten the desk somewhat. Okay, so I'm just checking the prompts. The theme was to portray your inner emotions in your piece. 2, it was a figure from a magazine. A mixed media background. We had the sort of mop-up page and we used some texture paste through a stencil. Cut out collage words, which we've done, and just a doodle. So that's all 5 prompts. I'm just going to maybe put it at that angle. I think it's better with the way the light hits it. So that's it back in situ into my 2021 journal, and yeah, very different sort of page for me. I like it. I like the way this is very green and this has got touches of green. So it's like it all works, but there's like still sort of a definite page divide as well as it being a double page spread. I quite like that. That was completely accidental, but I do really like how that looks. So anyway, as I said, please check out all the other girls. If you have enjoyed it here, please do consider liking and subscribing. And I will be back with some more crafty goodness for you very, very soon. Okay, take care then, and goodbye.